Most like there. Participate via Zoom.
Jackie, I'm not sure that it's very quite positive that's it.
All right, so it's 6 o'clock up there.
I was waiting to see.
Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready?
No.
All right, we will bring this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Caitlin, will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Brown,
Here.
Councilmember Cool,
Here.
Councilmember Livingston,
Here.
Councilmember Meineke,
Here.
Mayor Phillips.
All right. Now, if you'll please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance. Of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, approval of the agenda. Would anyone like to move any of the consent agenda items to the regular agenda? I asked to move item J.
Recording in progress.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same? All right. So now we have a dedicated work session. This is actually, was at my request. I had been notified by a community member who asked about having fundraising events or being able to get a discount or something at the field house for fundraising events. So I don't know, she's not here. I don't know if anybody else is here. I will just relay, the Des Moines Metro Pickleball Club has an annual gala every year. And one of the persons involved in that is Golda Curry. Golda and Mike Curry are members of our community. Mike does a lot of the UTV ride events. Golda is, she's been described to me as a professional pickleball player. I know she competes a lot in tournaments, and she's a big part of this, the Metro Pickleball Club. So she had approached me a while ago about being able to hold something, a tournament at the field house, or and since it is a charitable event, for instance, this year, I believe they raised money for first responders. They were just inquiring if they could, how they could go about having maybe a policy change to do something at our field house at a discounted rate. So I said, I'll see if we could discuss it at council. So that's kind of where we're at. I know Luke asked Carissa to get some information together. Luke, you got some information together. I don't know which.
Yeah, I can give you just a little bit of background. I've done a little bit of kind of checking within the metro area. And there's a range of policies, but most of the policies that allow for 501c3 access are typically to a community center type facility where you're looking at meeting room space and things like that, or shelters. In terms of a facility that operates more like an enterprise fund, like the field house, I didn't find any comparable usage agreements that allow for that yet. So I think there is just a range of ways you could go with it, but in terms of the fact that we're operating the field house currently, trying to get to a point where we can see what the general revenues look like, I have a little bit of concern on just how we would apply that policy uniformly across different nonprofits, and determining how much access we would be willing to give up, knowing that it would offset potential revenue of court rental time, and just the application of that. I know last year, around this time before I got here, there was some discussion from different organizations that looked for a similar type of arrangement. It went through Park Commission in November last year and then came to council in December last year. And I think the agreement was made with the school district and associated entities like the Booster Club, that we allow for one tournament weekend right now for the Booster Club. For that reason, just because of all of the shared facility usage between the district and the city. So we had that in place, and at that time, commission didn't recommend it, and council didn't approve any other entities besides the school and the Booster Club. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and my recommendation at this point would be to not make any changes to that until we have a better handle on what our revenues look like over the course of a year, what our court usage looks like, and get a better handle on that. Because once we would make a change like that, we would be sacrificing our potential to kind of look at that and balance out all the different organizations that might be interested.
And do you have a thought about when you will have a good sense of the revenue, so that if they want to come back and ask again, okay, you guys have been open for 5 years, can we reconsider this now?
I don't know if I know exactly when I would say that is. I think it would depend on council on when we were looking at the facility from a standpoint of, is it an economic driving and revenue generating where we want to break even, or is this a similar to a park usage like Music Fest that happens in the park, and when do we hit that threshold? I would look to your direction on that, but I would say probably at least give me a year before we revisit that, and then we'd be at about 2 years of operations. So.
I'm kind of fearful that if I don't know why the mayor, in our discussion, he said no one else in the metro is charging for that. I have no idea if that's speculation, if he actually.
I thought it was the other
study.
way. No one else in the metro is allowing it. Everybody in the metro charges for it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Not doing a discount or something like that.
Right.
And I'm worried about unintended consequences. If, you get a big group like that, well, there's going to be a member from Beaverdale, there's going to be a member from Norwalk. We could end up with an endless slate of 501c3s all wanting something like
Yes,
that.
yeah. A lot of the communities that have for allowances for policies, or that are exploring, that I found in facilities that are not similar to the field house, do have restrictions too on the time, like a Monday through Thursday requirement or a limited number of hours. And I think with the field house, we have such a finite amount of court time. It's not like having multiple park shelters available, or having we also, we'll do a donation of day passes to the aquatic center to a nonprofit. That's not a finite resource that we can't accommodate. So the court space is different in that way.
I guess I'd like to see a little water under the bridge, so you kind of see how it's going up there. And if we would consider such a policy, maybe a limited one like that, so it wouldn't jeopardize anything. Like maybe a percentage of the time available or something like that.
Yeah, and I would also say, sorry.
I'd probably only do that after I had a pretty good handle for what's coming and going.
Yeah, and I would say there are other ways we can partner with nonprofits too, like we mentioned, the day pass donations or a membership donation that we can give to the organizations, like we do with the pool or the field house membership, that allow them to utilize that to raise funds, or just a partnership of an event. If there's an event we think that we could put on that would work in partnership with a specific nonprofit, where we maintain the control of, is this a good use of the court space for the entire community, versus, like you said, opening the door to how many potential requests we could get, is where I would look at that from.
Well, I appreciate that discussion and consideration now. Along the consensus.
Thank you.
All right. So, item 5, welcome of guests and public comments. This is for any non-agenda item. You have 3-minute time limit. You can't take any action on anything that you want to discuss tonight. But if you'd like to comment on anything that is in the consent agenda, now would be the time. So any guests or public comment, come on up to the dais if you would.
Sure. My, kind of go along with what you just talked about. So,
Name and
Um,
address.
good evening. I'm Angie Kroll, Croll. I live at 225 West High Road here in Norwalk. I am here on behalf of the Norwalk Area Ministerial Association. Kind of want to do a couple things tonight. I want to update you on what we're doing in our town here, and also to go along with what you guys just discussed, a little bit of a request. So the Norwalk Area Ministerial Association, or NAMA, is the only human services organization here in Norwalk. We serve exclusively Norwalk residents who are in the school district of Norwalk. Every family that we help is your neighbor, your child's classmate, or someone you're going to see in our community. NAMA exists to make sure that when life gets tough for families here in Norwalk, they don't have to face that hardship alone. So far in 2025, we're on pace to provide emergency financial assistance to about 60 families. And that assistance could be assistance with rent, utility bill, a necessary car payment that they might be missing, or a car repair. And these are just the kind of things that, if they are left unaddressed, can lead to further crisis in this family's life. In addition to emergency assistance, NAMA supports families in many other ways throughout the year. Our Christmas event was just last week, and we served 118 households here in Norwalk. That was 190 children and 35 single adults. That is our joyful giving event, and that helped ensure that our community experienced joy and dignity and stability during this holiday season. In August, we had our Shoe Love event. We provided 134 children with new shoes, socks, and underwear so that they can start the school year with confidence. And week after week at our food pantry, we serve more than 135 families. That is weekly. We do that. We help put food on their table, and also provide other household essentials for them, like laundry supplies, hygiene items. And it was very cold tonight there, running outside. That's why my cheeks are red. Through our food rescue program, NAMA volunteers have rescued over 32,000 pounds from area businesses and taken them into communities in our town where people need the food. So we are rescuing that food and putting it on people's tables that need it. And more than 80 families receive food from each of our bi-monthly mobile food pantry events. And then our ever popular event, Lunch in the Park, which happens at City Park, which we feed over 2,600 meals every summer. We're there every Friday, feeding hot meals to people, and then also giving 1,400 snack bags to the kids, so they can have that snack over the summer, because they're missing their school lunch that they usually have. All this work is done through the community support, volunteers, and partnerships and fundraising, which brings me to why I'm here tonight. I was not the community member that approached Jackie about this, just so you know. But we do have a small committee, which includes Golda, who is working on, they're in the very early stages of planning a fundraiser for us. And that is for 2026, and that will help us sustain our services and grow the services. We're respectfully asking that the city council consider donating or waiving the rental fee for a pickleball tournament that would benefit NAMA. Like I said, the details, it's still in the early details here, but understanding whether a rental fee of $1,000 or more, if we're going to have to cover that, is going to be critical to determine the feasibility of the event. This support would allow more of the funds raised to go directly into serving the Norwalk residents. The request is not just about a fee, though. It's about an investment in the people of Norwalk. Every dollar we don't spend on overhead is a dollar that can be used to help a family through a tough moment. And it's a wonderful way to showcase our amazing field house to pickleball lovers from throughout the metro. So I do think there is value added in inviting these world-class pickleball players into our field house. We're very proud at NAMA to serve this community, and we take our responsibility seriously. We exist to support this city's residents in ways that can strengthen families and ultimately the community. So thank you so much for your time. Hopefully I didn't go over.
You did, that's all right. I gave you a little leeway.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay, so agenda item number 6, I'm in protest. Recognition and of you and me. I said I'm in protest.
Well, the mayor was very disappointed. He was ill this evening, so he couldn't be here. I think he was gonna do more of a roast. I'm doing recognition, so that should be nicer. This evening, we get to honor 2 extraordinary individuals who have dedicated so much for their time, energy, and passion to serving our city. Jackie Livingston and Brian Baker. As outgoing council members, they've left a mark on our community, and it's only fitting that we take a moment to reflect on their contributions and express gratitude. Let me start with Jackie. I know how much she loves this kind of recognition. Jackie, your sharp questions have been a guiding light for all of us, pushing us to think deeper and make better, more informed decisions. You've truly demonstrated the value of open conversation at the dais, showing us how thoughtful dialogue can lead to real progress. I have to admit, your communication style, that straight path to the point, without any unnecessary detours, is something I've tried to model in my own work, though I know I'll never quite match your precision. What many people don't see is the countless impacts you've had on our regulations behind the scenes. Your meticulous review of contracts, legal language, and all those intricate details have strengthened our foundation in ways that will benefit us for years. Jackie, you've been both a quiet force of excellence as well as an outward strong voice, and we're all better for it. Jackie has dedicated 12 years of service to the city of Norwalk. During her time on council, she has served not only as a council member, but as mayor pro tem, which you get to do this evening, and has represented Norwalk with distinction on a wide range of boards, committees, and regional organizations. Her services includes the Central Iowa Trails Board, Metro Advisory Council, Mid-Iowa Association of Local Governments, Warren County Emergency Management Board, and Warren County E911 Board, as well as countless work groups within the city. There's a lot more. I deleted a bunch of them because I knew you wouldn't want me to read all of them. She's also, this one I think is very deserving. She did serve on the Greater Des Moines Sister City Commission with your involvement in the Kosovo Sister City. Also the Wastewater Reclamation Authority, as well as the Park and Recreation Board liaison. Across all of these roles, she has consistently demonstrated a strong commitment to thoughtful governance and the long-term success of our community. Her leadership and willingness to serve have made a lasting impact on the city of Norwalk. Now turning to Brian. Brian, you've been our financial rock, steady and reliable through every challenge. With your background in sales and finances, you've bridged the rough roads of negotiations on so many critical projects, turning potential obstacles into opportunities. You've even helped us nerdy financial types, that's me, cause me to step back and recognize there's real value beyond just the numbers. It's about people, vision, and long-term impact. And as a strong proponent of investing in our infrastructure, you've championed initiatives that will carry lasting value for generations to come. Your foresight and dedication have truly shaped the future of our city. Brian has dedicated 8 years of service to the city of Norwalk. He has been a steady and thoughtful leader, bringing a practical perspective to both policy decisions and long-range planning. He represented the city on numerous boards and commissions, including serving as a Planning and Zoning Commission liaison, Construction Board of Appeals, and the Parks and Recreation Board liaison. His service also extended beyond City Hall. He represented Norwalk on Warren County 911 Board, Metro Advisory Council, Metro Waste Authority, Water Reclamation Authority Board, contributing to collaboration and infrastructure planning that benefits our community. In addition, he played an active role in several city work groups. He helped guide decisions that balance fiscal responsibility and community growth. What unites Jackie and Brian is their profound care for the community. Their efforts as council members reflect a deep commitment to making our city a better place, not for accolades, but because they genuinely believe in power of service. They've listened, they've advocated, and they've worked hard to address the needs of our residents. Before I finish, I want to draw some special attention to their respective roles in the city's strategic goal setting during Norwalk's 2028 strategic vision and Envision 2035. They each served as champions for long-term priorities. Brian championed the goal of balancing Norwalk's tax base in both of the strategic plans. That helped us focus on fiscal sustainability and responsible growth. I would argue that the birth of the Southwest Corridor was a result of Brian's work. The future of light industrial growth will have long-term impacts. Jackie championed the town center goal, and we now have Norwalk Central. What a huge success that has become and is still becoming. Jackie and Brian, as you step away from the council, know that your legacies will endure. We'll miss your wisdom, your wit, and your support. On behalf of council and the entire community, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We wish you all the best in your next adventures. May they be filled with the same fulfillment you've brought to us. Let's give them a round of applause. Guys come down to accept some back.
Didn't say I was quiet.
You have to take your name with you.
Get up and let's we stand in front of the. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Congratulations, we put your name right on it. Right? Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. All right. Item number 7, the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second?
Motion by, see, now I gotta remember everybody's name. One time in the hot second. Motion by Brown, second by Baker. Kayla, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yeah.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, that passes. So we're gonna do item J, which was removed from the consent agenda. The pay estimate number 6 and the change order number 2 for the completion of TK Concrete for the Main Street Water Main Replacement Project. And I asked that this be removed from the consent agenda just because we had a previous not good experience with TK. We brought them back, gave them another shot. So I just I know change orders happen all the time, but I want to know why there's a change order and what caused it, I guess.
Sure. Be happy to answer that. Overall, so yeah, TK Concrete, overall, they did a great job. They were probably our best contractor in town working this summer. They did 2 projects. They did this Main Street one and the Cherry Parkway widening project. As far as the concrete and logistics go, they did great. They responded to every request that we asked. The delay comes from, I would say most of it's attributed to their subcontractor not starting right away. V&K was hired to manage the project. At the pre-con, I remember Tony saying, your start date, you can start whenever you want, but the contract completion date is not negotiable. There's a completion date in there. And they did go beyond it. It wasn't an issue due to TK Concrete. It was their sub just not getting started right away. So Tony has negotiated already with TK Concrete. They're agreeable to the liquidated damages, 19 days. They're behind schedule to get to substantial completion. They're agreeable to that. We did incur additional engineering costs from B&K to have them out there, so liquidated damages are appropriate. Everybody's in agreement with the amount. Staff's very happy with TK Concrete, very responsive. Like I said, one of the better ones we've had. So I think they tried hard.
Great, that's great news. I think. We're gonna get a motion to approve the resolution. Okay, resolution to approve pay estimate number 6, change order number 2, and certificate of completion to TK Concrete for the Main Street Water Main Replacement Project. Motion by Baker, second by Meineke. Caitlin, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes,
Minneke, Baker,
Yes.
and that resolution passes. Now we go to 8A, a final reading of an ordinance amending chapter 176 subdivision regulations by amending section 17608 design standards and 17609 construction of improvements, providing for amended road construction requirements and warranty and maintenance bond requirements for public infrastructure. So we're changing our subdivision ordinance to require subdrains and granular subsurface for all new streets, as well as some revised language for bonding. Council passed that first reading, actually, second reading at our last meeting. I believe the staffs continued to have some discussions with several representatives from the development community. We understand these changes will have some direct impact on developers and the cost of new housing in Norwalk. As it stands, the ordinance will go into effect immediately. And due to that, we've discussed some phasing in, which would include some local contributions for building streets to the new standards. So we've talked about this idea of phasing in. We took that part out for a vote, so we'll vote on that part separate. So this first vote or discussion would just be amending that chapter. So Wayne, Luke,
Yeah, no significant changes from the last meeting other than the participation and cost.
any discussion, council? Any public comment?
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Cool, second by Brown. Any further discussion? Caitlin, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
All right, and then the second part of that is the resolution approving the road construction cost participation by the city of Norwalk. So with the ordinance change, this would be this city's kind of assistance to offset some of that phase in. Wayne, Jim, or Wayne or Luke, anything to add? Okay, any public discussion or comments from council?
Just for clarification for the public, this is not really, to fund this going forward, we could have a whole year of substandard roads built before it would kick in. Or am I wrong about that?
Without, so the ordinance you just passed has now officially made these new standards implemented immediately.
Yeah.
Had you not done that under the previous scenario of waiting a year, like giving just a time buffer, then yes, we could have gone through 1 year of roads going in at our previous lower standards. So
Is that our normal thing to do, or is that some kind of a regulation or rule, or what caused that? You decided to wait 1 year. If that was even an option.
I think that's actually pretty typical to what we see on some of our subdivision standards. Harris, what was the last big change that we made where we phased in or we give them a period of time?
That, I mean, that was our main overall of the subdivision standards, yeah. So
That it was, that we allowed that to be like a year delayed.
yeah, I think it was even longer than that in that case, because it was our whole ordinance we changed. So yeah.
In this case, because my thoughts are, because this is such a focused improvement on the street standards, and there seems to be agreement by the city and the development community that there is a cost attributed, like a direct cost attributed to these. We felt like this was one that made more sense to implement immediately with some cost offset to help buffer that issue for the developers. We get a benefit, our citizens get a benefit. They have the challenge of implementing immediately. That's where the financial offset came into play.
Then the reality of it is we're actually saving the city money.
In the long-term
It's less-
supply.
Yeah, it's less now than if they have to tear it out and rebuild it.
But the 1 year option is more of a traditionally of how we've done things. Give them a year to kind of
But the
adjust to
other
the rules, new rules.
Right.
So, okay.
I think that's an accurate statement. I'm looking at Luke Harris because
Okay, like when we did the bigger subdivision thing, I think we had like a 2 and 4 year. Like there was certain things you could have done within the first 2 years, and then some things that went up to like 4 years. Like it was like 4 years was like the cutoff. Like everybody at that point has to do everything. We don't really care if you bought the property already and you'd done some pro forma stuff,
I
but
just want to make that clear, so.
And like at the
we were
state
aiming
and
for a
federal-
Better street, that's the whole idea.
At the state and federal level, you know, some legislation takes effect immediately upon passing and some legislation doesn't take effect until the following July 1. And I mean, so it's not inconsistent with how things otherwise work.
you certainly have that option.
This one will take place July 1st, 26, so. Suppose anything that,
No.
No, that's
Anywhere, right now.
Like, right now.
Tomorrow.
okay,
it's all the phase in for the funding.
But they have to have.
right, that's
preliminary-
what I mean,
They have to
okay,
have their preliminary plats done already.
okay.
It's not usually.
And these dates align with our fiscal year.
Yeah.
Right, okay. One of the,
I just want to clarify that. That was in my own mind too, if that was some kind of a phase-in rule that was by the state or.
Right.
Just, it was just our.
Good question, George.
Any further discussion?
motion,
Second.
By Baker, second by Cool. Caitlin, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Livingston.
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
Baker.
yes,
Brown.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, that motion or that resolution passes. So, item 8C, the resolution approving a parking waiver for the Dunn Industrial Condominium. There is a sports user that's going in at the condominiums. They've indicated that the facility will be a training location and not used for tournaments. Using it as a sports facility bumps up the parking requirements quite a bit. However, since they're only going to hold practices there, the owner would like that parking waiver to reduce the amount of required parking stalls. As a point to consider, the council can put some conditions on the waiver, so if the owner does try to hold a tournament, the parking waiver would be removed, for instance. So, Luke?
yes.
It just says Luke. I don't get a Paris or an L.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fair. I would default to him too. Okay, so in 2024, we approved the site plan that's on the screen. That's just one page of it. That site was for two 19,000 square foot buildings that were identified as multi-tenant office warehouse. That site also included drive aisles, loading docks, and parking. They were required to have 54 parking stalls, and their site plan shows a total of 58. As of today, they built the north half of the site that's on the screen here. So they built the northern building, the drive that goes around it, all of the loading dock parking area back behind that one, and then the area in red is 27 parking stalls that they have built as of today. This fall, we were proposed by the owner and the idea that they had a business that wanted to locate there to use the facility as a basketball facility. If you go up one screen, you got it there. So that's 2 full courts and 1 half court, and then the far end is like a training room, like weights and stuff.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is the whole 19,000.
This is the whole building. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So the entirety of the building would take up with this use. So that is a change, a use change. So we originally evaluated the site plan as office warehouse. This now becomes recreation. So there's a change there, which would require additional parking and other things. When we run it through our stuff, we end up with 101 parking stalls is what would be required if that thing was being built as a recreation facility. So similar to when we did our field house, we had that calculation, did the same calculation here. They've requested to reduce that to the 27 parking stalls that's currently on site, partly because they have represented us that they don't plan on using it the same way that we do our field house or some of these other facilities. It's going to be more a membership-based business where they won't be doing those larger events. So we tried to think of some ways that we could come up with a number that made sense. One of the things the building code lets us do is limit occupancy of a building. So you figure out the maximum occupancy and you say, okay, we're going to limit it this. And we do that all the time for somebody that isn't going to use something that would require like 20 bathrooms. Well, look, I'm only really going to have need for 5 bathrooms. So we can do some limited occupancy things there and stuff. So I included in the staff report there at the bottom, just some calculations on if they limited occupancy, which they suggested to us, limiting it to 120 occupants. And that would put it to a 32 parking stall requirement if you do all of that math. So that was relatively in line with the 27. We decided to just bring the 27 waiver forward. There is a lot of extra space. P&Z had a lot of discussion about the pavement that's out there today and the ability for that extra pavement to be potentially used for parking. So ultimately, P&Z did meet at December 8th, discussed all of that, did feel like there was additional space that they could do extra parking if they needed to in those loading bay areas. And so they went ahead and recommended approval of the waiver. Staff analysis wise, I don't have a concern with this use specifically, and that I just try to look more long term. We're going to have a facility there, and it gives me a little bit of pause that, who's the second, third, fourth user there, and what does that put us in if somebody decides to start running it that we're not aware of. I mean, we don't always know when businesses change over, and then some Saturday afternoon we have 200 cars parked out on Madison, and then that puts us just in a bad spot because now we got to react to that because they've limited occupancy, but they're violating that. But do you go shut down a tournament and all that? I don't think that's a problem right now, but that might be a consideration of a condition or something that you might want to put on that waiver related to future uses or any of that things. So with that, answer any questions.
So can the waiver be granted to a specific business rather than property?
I believe in the past, Jim has said that it runs with the land. So I think you would have to maybe restrict it to like a certain type of use. Like, if that waiver would go away, I think Jackie mentioned it when introducing the item that, maybe a waiver to allow it, but if they do operate a tournament there, then the waiver disappears, right? Like, that's probably the way to do it because then that covers everybody, not just the current user. So.
And could we go even further and say, maybe not just if they hold a tournament, but if they have occupancy over a certain number? Because
sure.
So here's my concern, right? 2 full courts. So, right, I don't play basketball. I don't particularly like basketball, no offense to anybody, but right, if we figure, thank you, if we figure 10 people on a team and 1 court that's 20 people plus coaches and parents, and on another court that's 20 people plus coaches and parents, and then you got a half court for, I don't know, all the other people. So, right, I just, if you have younger kids, it's not usually a drop-off situation. Parents come and stay. So
Sure.
Now you have twice that amount of people. I just feel like 27 spots is not enough for no tournaments. I don't feel like 27 spots is enough. But I do feel better if we say, okay, if you have more than, I don't know, 100 people, then the waiver's invalid. I mean, I whatever that number is, I don't know, but I don't know that tournament is the word that I think should regulate it. I'm not trying to micromanage, but I think, right, what matters is how many people are there.
Sure.
Right. And if you have a tournament, you still generally have the people who are playing at the time, and then they leave and somebody else comes.
Sure.
There's a little bit of overlap. So I'm actually a little bit less concerned about the term tournament than I am about the number of people.
Okay.
Who came up with the 120 number?
The
They do?
MVP Sports, when we were working with them on trying to figure out a way to make this make sense, we suggested, well, if we limited occupancy, what would you limit it to? And so the 120 is the number from the company that they feel like they
Appropriate.
wanted to expand. I believe one of their emails, they felt like that was well more than they needed. So.
Where would the extra parking?
So on the site plan above, you've got the parking that's up there, and then you got an drive aisle that comes down the east side of the building, and then one that comes back to the south of it. And there's all those kind of hatched areas,
Yeah.
in between the two buildings, Luke. Because that second building's not built yet, and the south parking drive is not built yet. Right up next to the building, there's all of those hatched areas.
Right.
Those are the loading bays with overhead doors, and then the blank spots next to those would be available to be striped for parking. So, I mean, just guessing at that, you could probably do four to five per spot between each of those hashed areas. So you could potentially get another 20 to 25 parking stalls on the south side.
Okay, so one of the things that you said was the other building's not there yet, but if we approve this waiver,
Mhm.
unless we have an end date, the building will be built at some point, right? And the waiver's still in place.
Yep.
And I don't, is this middle section, this loading bay section, is it paved differently?
I
Then
believe
the
it's probably actually thicker pavement than the other area, just because for a loading.
Expensive in the scheme of things to stripe it for parking,
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't get us the 101, but it would get us more.
but it would get us more.
Yep. Which they from the P and Z discussion, I believe, were willing to do. P and Z ended up approving it with the 27, just knowing that that was an option if it became an issue. So I think, and I believe the owner of the property was agreeable to that. So if you wanted to set it to a bigger number and we can communicate back to them, hey, we want you to stripe that area, we can certainly work on that.
My preference is I would rather have it done than if it becomes a problem, because then we have to police it.
Sure.
Right? And
Yep.
it's a headache to do it afterwards. And if it's, I mean, it would be different if they had to pave and it would be a huge cost
Yep.
increase, not that much more expensive to stripe it.
Yep.
So that's my,
Did I understand it right that if everything goes south and this had to be turned back into warehouse and office that is super hot right now on the market, the 58 stalls, is that what was originally required for the warehousing
Yep,
office?
yeah.
Okay. I'm good.
I think the other piece of this too is like, he was talking about, Jackie mentioned, is looking at the overall occupancy numbers. Because that'll probably, control the number of vehicles. So in your discussions with them out there, right, you might consider discussing maximum number. And you mentioned that you might discuss with them the striping of the other area to add, some available parking, right?
I think that you did discuss number, right? Which is 32 spots.
32 is what I
Or-
calculated, and they were asking to just use the existing 27. So, and 32 is at a occupancy of 120. The draft resolution that I prepared does kind of have all of those numbers in it. So just something to be aware of when we're approving things, or if you want to table something to have us tweak them to the actual numbers, we can do that. My math though, basically, like if you want them to require more stalls, it's basically 0.263 stalls per occupant, right? So if you say, well, 120, we're worried that that's not really going to be enough for that. You could say, well, we want you to limit to 150, and then I can do the math real quick and tell you what that number is, right? Like,
so have we already approved, or do we not need to approve a change in use?
the change in use is allowed because it's allowed in the zoning district. It's just when use changes trigger other requirements. Yeah.
Okay, I
That's where
just
we're at.
wanted to make sure. So I feel like, right, I get that it's only 5 more spots. I think 32 is, if that's the number you've calculated for 120 occupants, I think that's what ought to be Right.
Okay. Well, I would recommend, if that's what you all want to recommend, we would want to update the parking waiver resolution to 32 stalls. So, and then we can work with them to make sure we get 32 out there.
I guess that's my motion.
I think, if they came up with 120, I don't know at what point you lose, to get it down to 27, where the backward math would get to 110.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think it's fine the way it is. They have a ton of overflow space. I don't think it's gonna take leasing. I'd be happy with proving it as
103.
103.
103 I can see it.
Got it.
So-
Yeah,
So,
if it's just used for practicing, I think that is sufficient.
I think if they're gonna go for 120, we should require the adequate number of parking stalls.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. Then we kind of stay consistent. Brian, your thought is the normal Jason Brown thinks, yeah. But
All they have to do is stripe one section of those for 5
Right.
stalls and they're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can do that with a paintbrush. I mean, personally, but I think you're all right till the next building comes up.
that's all I'm worried
Right,
about.
but then when the next building comes up, right, it's.
you gotta change occupancy.
But you'll have another shot.
That might even be a office warehouse that doesn't.
Yeah,
require
but
it.
right, because if the other one's an office, you don't need the extra space.
That'll be their problem then, because you gotta maintain that number of
Yeah,
parking.
I think everybody complains all the time about not enough parking, so let's just give them the required number of parking and. It's not a hardship, it
I
doesn't
think it's a
sound.
big deal.
It's-
To add the extra stall,
Yeah.
so.
Right, so I'm making the motion for 32 parking stalls.
I'll second that.
All right, so any other discussion? Any public discussion? Kayla, we call the roll.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes. All right, 8D, resolution approving engineering services agreement with Beanstra and Kim for the 2026 Founders Water Main Improvements Project. This is the next phase of improving the water distribution system in the Founders District. Spent a lot of time talking about new growth and expanding infrastructure. This project is a great example of Norwalk recognizing the need to maintain and update older infrastructure. So, Wayne?
You summarized it very well. I'll just add, we're hoping to start design as soon as possible and have construction yet in 2026. That's why it's before you tonight and not waiting for the traditional CIP approval. We're hoping to get going on it right away.
And we've already budgeted this.
Yes, yep, there's money available in our accounts.
Any discussion? Any public discussion? Motion by Cool, second by Meineke. Kayla, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Meineke,
Yes.
All right, 8E, a second reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Norwalk to adopt a zoning amendment related to gates on commercial property. The zoning amendment is to allow the construction of gates and barriers along Highway 28 for businesses. We did the first reading last meeting. Luke, anything to add?
nothing for me.
Sorry.
That's okay. You're just right here, so. All right, any further discussion? I know
Yeah.
Jason, you had some
Yeah.
stuff last week. Do you want to talk?
So I continue to have some stuff, but I think one thing is important to be clear with council on is I'm all for having a zoning ordinance related to this, and I'm all for giving private property owners the opportunity to do this. So let me say that. My biggest concern is the aesthetics of it, and particularly along Highway 28. To just make sure that if people are going to use gates, I know it sounds funny, but I would love it if the gate actually added to the aesthetic value of the property. And so, spent years of my life researching gates and barriers and the aesthetics qualities of those. So I'm a qualified expert there, but I thought it might be valuable for us to spend a little bit more time to think about that possibility of what would we want the aesthetic qualifications of these gates? And again, if you just think about, it's a, it's a mental experiment we're running. What if we said, hey, they actually have to add to the aesthetic quality of a place in Norwalk? And so what would that mean in terms of, an ordinance and the requirements to fulfill it? So.
I think it addresses that a little bit, not from a like prettiness standpoint, but it has to be coated, I think, with
Yeah. Yeah.
some kind of coating so it doesn't rust out right away.
No, it doesn't address it for me, George.
That's
It does it for you.
Wasn't pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried.
I mean, not having rust is I would call that like, here's the floor, not having rust.
Unless it's made to look like rust.
Would
Like
current-
the real-
Right.
Then it's fine.
How would current businesses be grandfathered in or not with this? I'm thinking of the on, I believe it's High Road and 28th, the little storage facility that,
It's just chain link, I think. Just-
yeah, I was gonna say, that's chain link. I don't know what your idea of beautification and
I don't know how
Beautification might-
grandfathering clauses work and thing, but I think that that'd be an important thing to consider as well, right? I'm thinking about moving.
I don't know, isn't that High Road?
No, it's not
28
High Road. It's
Or-
right.
Right. I'm
Right.
sorry,
Right, it's on right.
Okay. I was
Yes, that's
confused. Typically, things that when you make a zoning change, things that exist as long as they were done legally at the time get to continue
Okay.
until they're removed. And then when something's put back, it has to meet the new code.
And there's certain things that I think about exempting, and that would be, storage facilities, common places where gates have been used.
But are you hesitant about,
No,
I have no style ability. My idea of beautification and yours and everybody's is gonna be different. I think that's gonna
Well,
be very difficult.
right now though, we have certain requirements for how, buildings are
should look.
built.
Yeah.
So I'm asking
Surface
for us to
structure.
think through it a little bit more deeply in regards to gates and barriers.
I suppose you could somehow tie it to what the building code requirements are for the structures in that area. As far as the surfacing of it or what.
Yeah, I don't,
I don't know quite how that works. I'm not the expert on that. But we do have people around.
I'm like, I will have to become an expert. I'm like Jason, but I will do that if we need to.
So what are we looking to do here?
Right. So do you want to table this so
Yeah,
we can get more
I wanna table
information?
You'll have a chance to vote for it, Big.
basically, I'm really trying to,
It doesn't pass with us.
it's really most important that I get Brian and Jackie to say, yeah, for one more meeting, I don't want to fight with Jason for very long.
I think there's value in what you're saying. I think that there ought to be some requirement about what that fence or gate or stoppage looks like. I don't think that that's unreasonable. So I don't have an opinion if it gets tabled. It doesn't bother me if it does. I don't feel like we're anything imminent coming up that
No imminent
requires
gate
us.
danger.
No
Yeah, and
imminent
I-
gate danger.
Jackie, thanks for bringing that up because, I had a conversation about, is there anything we're gonna really slow up?
Right.
If we slow this up, and it seemed to me, it seemed to the Lubes that there's nothing that was gonna like we're slowing somebody up, cause I wouldn't wanna do that, but.
Other than it might have impact on the one business that's coming in that.
Yeah,
Right.
technology.
Yeah, it might.
And I don't know what they're looking at for a timeline for that. Whether
Yeah.
that's in the spring or what. We could probably afford a couple of weeks to refer this back to the staff to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Come back with some recommendations. So I would make a motion
There's
to
a-
table this.
There's a motion to table it.
Oh, you already,
In a second.
not second it then. With that understanding that, you know, the staff will take a look and bring us back a recommendation. and act on it.
So one meeting, next meeting, enough?
Which time you need?
I think
Luke, how much time do you think you're gonna
Like,
need
no.
to like look in, have some conversation?
Month, the second meeting in January? Second meeting in January.
At a minimum, does that, will you survey the businesses that are gonna put up a gate?
I mean, I suppose that's part of what you could
I mean,
do.
you wouldn't be the ones that are existing, or I mean, that are gonna be
Right.
new ones, but the ones that are existing,
So
you know, if we pass this, or we put up a gate. Of some type.
We get their input.
Well, we know one business that has already said they're going to.
I tried to write the language that's before you today with the context of knowing the folks that want to put stuff up or have stuff up already and writing a code that would allow them to do what they've said they want to do. So, you know, one of them is a school that runs a plastic chain across the front of their driveway, right? Which is one side of that, but it's a non-corrosive material that won't rust, right?
Pretty
It's
shady.
it's just getting above the floor, right?
Yeah. Can I just have my wife take a look at it? Like that.
So yeah, I would say the second meeting in January, we can definitely have something for you.
Okay,
But
so-
if you want to leave it open, we might have something on the 8th if we all decide that we're geniuses with it.
Thank you.
So there's a motion and second to table. Any other discussion? Caitlin, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker.
yes.
You still got the board on.
All right, 8F, final reading of an ordinance repealing and replacing chapter 35, Department of the Norwalk City Code. This change is being done to update language to make it more accurately represent how the department functions today.
Spirit of Jackie Livingston motion.
Thank you. Chief Porter, anything else?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Any council discussion, questions? Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, motion by Brown, second by Baker. Anything further? Caitlin, we call the roll.
Councilmember Cool,
Yeah.
Livingston,
Yes.
Minneke, Baker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Okay, I think I've forgotten to say every time that passes. Okay,
Kind of
so,
bad.
item 7, future agenda items. The purpose of this is for council to give direction to staff by way of motion to have items placed on future agendas, not for discussion of the merits of any subject matter. So, right, we had the request from NAMA. Anything else we want to do on that? Do we want to specifically talk about their request? Do we want to wait?
I would like to
Yeah,
talk about their
I'd like to talk about their request.
Yes.
And yeah. You know, thinking about organizations that specifically, they themselves are a nonprofit organization and their work benefits.
Directly
Norwalk.
Okay, Ed, you're the only one that really,
Yeah, I'm probably fine with that. I wish we'd have enough water under the bridge to understand.
well, and right, in theory, you could just talk about this one-off event and not set any policy for the future, right? I mean, that's
The other,
the theory.
there's the other thing. Krista, how much does it cost to rent the space? Like if they're thinking about doing it on a Saturday, what's the cost of
On a
that?
Saturday, it's $65 per court per hour, and there's 4 courts, so it depends. Well, in pickleball, I guess I need to look up the specific rates. We have different
Okay,
pickleball.
if
based on
somebody can do quick math, like what is that then for the day?
260 per hour based on the basketball court rate, which would be the full
So
facility
like $1,000, what?
for about 4 hours. Mhm.
So here's, you know, I have two thoughts about that. One,
Time out.
I don't think we're
Never mind.
supposed to
We're
talk.
not supposed to talk about it. We're
Yeah,
just
we'll
supposed to
talk
talk
about-
about.
right, you're not supposed to talk about the merits of it.
Right,
That's
just
correct.
about.
Thanks, Jackie.
We're gonna ask for it to be on agenda and the majority. of
Yeah.
Those who will be here in the future say yes.
Yes.
So yes. Okay, got that,
Right.
Luke?
Yes.
All right, anything else?
Nope.
All right, council increase and staff updates. All right, so we will start with the outgoing Mr. Baker.
I would like to say I am very honored and feel very privileged to help with Norwalk and the community and serving with you guys. You absolutely make us pleasure. I will miss this so much. You as a staff really makes our job easier, a lot easier. I have learned so much, and you guys have tempered your eye rolls when I asked for the definition of an acronym as usual. But anyway, yes, I'm really gonna miss it. Been a
You can
pleasure.
still stop by after the council meeting.
Oh, I probably will be in May.
George.
I'll pass tonight.
Ed?
Well, we passed our budget there at the waste management. And we anticipate a $71 million income over this next year. And we were able to reduce the budget a little bit. We didn't add any staff over the year, so we don't plan on adding any staff. And we will have a minimal increase in our cost this year. It's make sure I'm telling you right here. 2.7% increase in the rate for solid waste. And then it's 3.1% for the curb at recycling rates. That'll be the increase. And it's significantly less because we use the east facility, the west facility. They did a cost estimation of those communities in the west are considerably more than we are. And it just worked out that way because of the cost analysis of being able to operate that facility. Anyway, other than that, that's all I have, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Luke Harris.
Yeah, so as of today in December, we have 17 housing permits. So that puts us up to 220, which is right at our average. So that's good. Maybe we'll get a few more next week. We'll see if people want to build houses over Christmas. That's all I've got, other than thanks to Jackie and Brian for your service, and it's been nice working with you.
Likewise. Thank you. All right, Carrie?
Nothing fine.
Wayne?
I just want to say thanks for the subdivision standards improvement. That's something, a great value to the city. Some council should be proud for bringing that change. We'll still have some issues, but I think a lot of our issues will go away, and we'll see a lot of value from that. Thank you. That's it.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Chief Tony? Chief Tony?
I just wanted to work my head to about the design standards too. I think something that we'll just recognize the benefits for long term. So really excited about that. And also thanks to Jackie and Brian for your service to the city.
Cops with Carts was a tremendous success. You all know that already, but I just want to say it publicly. 8,615 pounds of food and about $4,500 in cash, so they can buy fresh meat, eggs, and milk when they need it. And so that's a lot. That's really a lot. But one thing I would just want to put in perspective is that during the event, some of the things that we do is we spend some of the money that we take in there at Fairway and deliver food down. That's part of the 8,615 pounds. And I took one of the new officers out and we picked up boxes of Hamburger Helper. And we figured out how much they were per box. And, I have a budget in mind of what we'll spend of the cash we take in. And we put 144 boxes of Hamburger Helper in a cart. And the officer said, wow, this is like a whole lot of food. I mean, are you sure we want to buy this much? And I said, yes, we want to buy this much because although it's 144 boxes, they'll serve 125 families next week and this will be gone if they choose to give Hamburger Helper out next week. I was like, and we're not buying the hamburger that goes with it. So $3.99, $5.99 a pound, whatever it is. And so it's a lot, but it's really not. So while it's really fun and makes you feel good to
rally the community together to put that much food in the food pantry. It really never goes away. That much food every 3 weeks, all year long. So if you're looking for something to contribute to, NAMA and the food pantry ministry is an excellent choice. That's all.
All right, Jean Kelly.
The only thing I have is to say thank you to you and Brian. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Ollie.
I won't get emotional about you guys leaving, but we are very grateful that we've had you here for so many years because it's just been just an amazing change in this community since you've been here. You've been a huge part of that. We're really going to miss you. We know we have a couple of good council members coming in, but I told Jackie your shoes just can't be filled in certain ways, and I'm very, very grateful. And on your last year going out, just a couple little nuggets as we're finalizing year-end reports and all the stats that'll come out in January, which is so you know, it helped with 23 new businesses open their doors in Norwalk. In 2025, we've added an estimated 350 new jobs to our local market, over 300,000 square feet of new commercial industrial space, either open, broke ground, or announced. It's a lot of new tax base for the community. And then Norwalk is in the news 340 times. So those are all positive stories. So thank you and congratulations.
Carissa.
I won't try and follow that.
Ian Strable.
Just thank you on behalf of the library staff and the Board of Trustees. We really appreciate your service.
Lindsay.
Thank you to both of you. You've been awesome to work with.
Okay, I really feel like okay, Lindsay, what do you have to do? You want to thank? You are welcome. Anything for you? Okay, all right. Sorry, Kaylin, I said, I signed that, Kaylin. Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. Huge for me coming on with no experience to be able to have you two there every week. Huge. And also very concerned about initially, how do we replace some of it? Super excited for Kelsey, also excited for Angie or Andy. But yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure sitting next to you, Jackie. I got an email from Luke, several of us did, and I just, for your enjoyment, Luke put the words interesting and wastewater flow almost back to back. And for a kid who is still junior high male at heart, that was glorious to get that email. I did not think I would hear interesting and wastewater flow. And Luke was being serious. It was interesting to him.
You're gonna deal with the sewer a lot.
Yeah. Sewer's a big deal. Let's see. It felt like there was one more thing I wanted to notice. Oh, Jackie, our girls' basketball team is undefeated and third ranked.
Thank you for updating me. That's awesome. So like that's lovely there.
That's it. I think I don't have any stuff.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I have something that just made me think of it. My son joined the Norwalk wrestling team.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there you go.
Senior year, he decides to go for wrestling. What a perfect transition from gymnastics,
Right.
right?
Well, actually,
Oh,
pretty good.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Well, I would just like to say that it's been a long and somehow very short 12 years. It's been a blessing and very fulfilling to be part of this community and to serve it in this capacity. As I look around the room, I think there's maybe 3 people who outlast me, who predate me, right? Luke Paris was here before me.
Barely. Like 3 months.
Had a hand in Wayne's getting hired, had a hand in Keith Staples getting hired, and Holly and Jean, and was here when we hired Deanstra and Kim to be on full-time, and when we hired Jim to be our full-time attorney, and through 3 fire chiefs, and got best, So I'm just, and second, library, also the best. Carissa, you're gonna be great. I'm sure you are. So anyway, from, getting Ragbri here and having a very successful run with Ragbri in Norwalk, we had a lot of great positive comments. I was really proud of that. All my involvement with Kosovo and the ability to be able to go and be such an active part of that partnership. Norwalk Central, of course, is something I'm super proud of. My only failure, IV, and as far as I'm concerned.
Now you're. False.
Oh,
I don't think that's your.
they need to sell us the land back and get the heck out of Dodge. I say it for the record.
Seconded.
So with that, if there's nothing further, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We are adjourned. Please come to Fairway Franks and have a drink with us.